kind of stuff. I hope everyone is well. So while I get myself set up, I do have a guest with me today, and it is Cornhole Three-Way. Hello to you.
Hello.
Thank you for joining me. This is gonna be a lot of fun.
It's the first three-way, two-way.
It is the first three-way two-way. There's a first time. This is first time for everything. So how have you been?
Been doing good. Yeah.
Been doing good. How are you doing? No, that's good. So today we are going to go through all of Lorne's class assignments that Blue Boy had put up. Well, I think I've kind of gone through one or two in the past and that, but they definitely deserve a bit of a deeper look. So I think that'll be good, and some of them are pretty heavy, so we are going to kind of keep it as light as possible. I think. So so yeah, and so thank you to Asbury Brad for tonight's stream art and taken from obviously the more recent photos that are on Blue Boy's community tab. Um, and it's just a great. I was actually looking through them before, and there's like a massive pool of water. So Lorne kind of did get his lake that he was wanting to live by, which is nice. Um, cool.
Well,
So
he
before,
started it or something.
yeah, he started. I mean, everything's a work in progress, but I just can't believe what he has done to this place. I mean, it wasn't in a great condition to start off with, but it's just amazing how he has destroyed it.
Is that whole part missing the roof?
The part on the right, is that what you
No,
mean,
on the
or?
left. The left looks like the roof is just covered in plastic.
Oh yeah, I think you might be right. Yeah, because you can definitely see the kind of sheet metal at the right of it, and that might be, at least most of it might just be plastic tarp over there because it's a different color, like you'd expect it to. So maybe the roof has finally collapsed. Unfortunately, he wasn't
Oh my
around when it
goodness.
happened. But what is the point of continuing with this? Like, just knock it down and start again. There's just yeah, it's crazy. But anyway, enough about that. So, um, do you mind if I ask you? Because it's been a while since I've had a new guest on, so I haven't asked the stupid questions I always ask. So, can I ask
Yeah.
you firstly, is Lorne a virgin or not?
Yes, he is.
He is good. Yep, no, that's good. You're allowed to stay now. No, I'm joking. Um, but yeah, he definitely is, in my opinion at least.
If you've had anybody that said that he's not a virgin, it was because they didn't have all of the information we have now.
Yeah, I agree, and I think, and because I mean, as I've said before, like very first when I first started listening to this, and first, you know, all this kind of crap, like you just think he probably is. I mean, what, he's nearly 50. The odds are it has happened, but there's just no way it could have. Just he's never going to. He's just too weird. He's too weird. He is too creepy.
He has that face too.
He does have that face. It's a lot to overcome. Like, you know, and I understand. I mean, everyone has, their good points and their bad points, but you can't overcome his bad points. There's not enough alcohol in the world to overcome. And could you imagine waking up from like a big night out and seeing that face hovering over you? Because that's what he would do. Like, if he managed to actually get someone in his bed, he would you'd probably wake up, he'd be smelling you, I reckon. Very weird.
He wouldn't go to sleep all night because he's just watching you.
Yes, and he'd be like nervous, like not nervous, like shaking in excitement. He'd be he'd be
And he'd be
squeaking.
breathing in your face the whole time.
And imagine that breath, like that mixture of coffee and cigarettes and, oh geez, it'd be
And
something else.
baloney.
And baloney. Hear me chewing. Um, And so, I guess how did you get here to this weird little niche community that this is?
So I watched To Catch a Predator not when it first came out, but on YouTube a few years after that,
Hmm.
and I really like To Catch a Predator. So like every few months I'd rewatch the episodes, um, and whenever it was like 6 years ago or something when I re-watched them, I ended up looking to see if there were any To Catch a Predator podcasts.
Hmm.
And at the time, Based Shaman was doing a podcast called Predator Planet that was really good. I loved it, but it got taken down. And while I was into that podcast, I looked up Based Shaman videos, and I knew that they were there was like a lot more stuff about Lorne, but I really resisted watching any of it for years. Um, and then during COVID, I didn't have anything else to do. So I
Yep.
started watching Lorne stuff
And so, was there a particular reason you resisted for so long?
because I thought it was very boring.
Yeah, no, that's
I,
fair.
I think I I think I tried listening to something. It, I think it was a Winnie call,
Hmm.
and I couldn't listen to Winnie.
You're not the only person I've heard
Well,
say
and
that.
if that's just, yeah, coming out of nowhere, like you don't have any background, that's like all you're hearing.
Mm.
It's hard to understand what's happening.
Yeah, like Winnie would be a difficult first catfish to come in on because a lot of craziness and all that kind of stuff, and you really, I mean, it's hard to believe Law would keep talking to these people there, but if you thought Winnie was the first and only catfish, you'd be like, why the fuck is this guy on the phone? Like, just hang up. But there's been a bit
Yeah,
of preparation work to get to her.
I did know that it was supposed to be a catfish, but when
Hmm.
I listened, I was like, she's just acting like she's his girlfriend. It doesn't sound like this is fake at all. So I was
Mm,
very confused.
yep. And but because the first one I heard was Ramona, but see, I kind of came in where I think like the kind of trying to think, but like one of Tiffany's, I don't know if it was Debbie or Casey. Anyway, I all get confused there. But like I'd be listening to Sundays with Cod, and then like the person who's playing either Casey or Debbie was at the time is on there. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? So it's all very confusing at first. But yeah, but but then and it's just one of these things you can never see it. You could never see it continuing, but fortunately it has, and that brings us to here. So, I might say
Lucky
hello
for
to
us.
everyone really quickly, then we'll crack into it. Yeah.
Hmm.
Unless did you want to do the hellos?
No, go ahead.
All right, no worries. So, g'day to Evil Little Me Nuggets and Dr. Cunt and quote unquote 13 AAC, Asbury Brad, and Course Not, and Spencer Silvera, Pussy Destroyer, Donkey Balls, Megan Gorski, Burnt Leafs, Tranquillo, Willow Angel, Happy Face, Generic Internet Mail, Metro State Tactical Ice Cream Truck, Bunny, and Outdoor Loser, and Branch, and Hey Boo, Mandy S, um, Cat G, Gorilla Face Gwen, Lorne Legstrong, the Duchess of Cornville, and who's Brittany? Tear Down Mouse, Silver Turtle Lady, Dat Damn Doctor, Octopushy, Miss Bean Have, um, Marshall Sanchez, Omega Heber, You Mad Bro 424. Um, um, I don't really know why that was funny. Constantin, Department of Redundancy Department, Fantastic Planet, Medium Syllables, Michael Vogt, um, Pee Wee's Burnt Pizza, and You Super J, Shin's Koala. Who asked a good question? What's the plan for that pile of rocks? Like, what is the plan there? I is that just
Those
waiting to
look
be
like
taken
lake
away?
rocks.
What's that?
They look like lake rocks.
Oh, of course.
It's
Well,
part
that's
of the
what the
decor.
plan is. How silly. How silly of me to miss that. Ixuraha and James Sanders and Decon versus the Dark and Alice Marie Armstrong. And Kim is 100 a bully. I think I got everyone. Oh, no. Roman Sutton, Jinx, and Donde Lieta, and I think I got everyone there. And Shin asks, who is our guest tonight? Our guest is Cornhole Freeway. So it's C3W and C3W. Cool. Let's do it, yeah? So
Ready.
let's get set here. So we're going to start with the assignment part 1 all the way through to part 11. So why can't I get rid of that?
My sexual.
Oh, g'day Gorilla Spawn and Ilrig. Technically I didn't forget about you because I purposely ignored you, but hello. G'day VR Hoss.
History began when I was 4 or 5 years old and got caught in the doghouse with Lisa. Lisa was 4 or 5 years old also. We were showing each other our private parts. At the age of 13 or 14, I began masturbating to a porn magazine with a nude picture of the actress that played Mary Ellen on the television show, The Waltons. It was the only porn magazine we had in the house for as long as I can remember.
And he always talks about they only had one porn magazine. Like, it's like he's even tried to say, like, basically his lack of, sexual knowledge is because of that. It's
like saying I only had one pair of shoes.
Yeah.
How did they expect me to be able to have a decent childhood?
How many porn magazines do you need in the house I don't it's just very odd. It's very odd.
Mary Ellen was in her 20s or 30s. At the age of 13, I kissed with a girl named Christy, also 13 years old, at a school dance. At the age of 14, I kissed almost every day for 2 months with a girl named Sherry, 15 years old.
Do you know how many people named Sherry he knows?
No, but
it seems like everybody he talks about is named Sherry.
Isn't it funny how in all these things you have the same names coming up all the time? Like, it's
really, really, really odd.
Yeah. Like at one point in here, if I remember correctly, we get a Debbie pop up. Like, it's just he's putting out what he knows there. And am I the only one that thinks it's weird that he says that he kissed with? Like, why does he just say I kissed? Like, why? Like, is that a main thing?
Because he crossed out made out.
Oh, you are very correct. And why? Like, why did he do that? I don't like. Did he think that sounded too sexual, or I don't? It's very odd.
I'm not sure, but you can see that he made that correction a few times.
Over and over. And so, because he's, like, every time that he says kissed with, it's from where he's crossed out made out. But obviously he's gone back at the end. Like, he's actually done some proofreading, which is interesting that he does this for this kind of stuff, but not for the books and stuff he writes. But because it wasn't like he kind of said made out once ago, oh, you know what, I preferred kissed. He just kept saying made out and kept having to go back and said kissed with. But yeah, didn't. You're exactly right. He didn't cross out the with part of the made out with. So you're left with, rather than I kissed, you're left with I kissed with.
Do you think that he turned this in once when it said made out and whoever was doing the rape class at the time, like, commented on that, so the time he turned it in next, he crossed it out?
Yeah, I think that could be, because that also fits because I couldn't see Lorne doing his own proofreading. Like, I couldn't see him taking enough care to read, so it would have been, kind of like when you're at school, like when you're in like grade 9 or something in English class, and you'd give your draft to the teacher, and the teacher would go through and make all these notes, and then you would fix it up. Because Lorne doesn't care. And I mean, he should. I mean, this should be the most important stuff in his life, really. Like, if he cared about not being a danger anymore and improving himself, like, this should be getting all his attention. But
if he really cared about not being on the sex offender registry.
Exactly. But he just thinks he's going to get off it one day. Like, they're just going to be, you know what, Lorne, you've done a few years now. Off you go, scamp.
For the next 3 years, I didn't find any interest from any of the girls I went to school with or met, partially because my confidence level was down because schoolmates were mad at me for not playing basketball. At age 17, I went on a...
In that part, he says he didn't find any interest from them, right? Is that what they said?
Yep. And
oh no, it says in. Never mind.
See, I thought it said...
I was just thinking if it said he didn't find any interest from them, then he's like waiting for them to come up to him.
Well, yeah, and see, that would be the case because that, as we were talking about, before as to whether he's a virgin or not, like that's the thing. And a few times, I've heard, like, basically if he, because he was in the Air Force and that kind of stuff, and as people have rightly said, a lot of times, especially if you're in those bars, you're wearing the uniform and that, like, you're probably going to pick someone up if it's the end of the night, that kind of thing. But in that circumstance, you would have to approach them, which I can never see Lorne doing that. So, but yeah, that's another heavy toll that's been paid by not playing basketball anymore. It's always the fault of that.
Double date with my cousin and 2 of his female friends. My date's name was Monique, also 17.
Why does that name just really stand out? Like, with all the names he gives all the time, like, your Sherrys and all this kind of stuff, Monique, it just really stands out to me. Like, where did he get that name from? Not that I'm saying that I think that Monique actually is a real person, so this is actually true. It just always makes me laugh when Monique.
Probably from Three's Company.
Is the person in Three's Company called Monique?
I have no idea.
Oh, okay. I've never watched Three's Company, so I thought, oh, maybe that's right.
I kissed with her and felt her breasts. At age 19, I dated my boss's daughter, Amanda, age 17. I only kissed her and only dated her for 2 months. I had known her since I was a kid. My boss had mentioned marriage to me and I broke up with her and quit my job. At age 19, I dated Denise, 29, for 3 months. The first time I had sexual intercourse was with Denise. We only had...
Oh, and so the most worst, the most worst, informs me you don't go to the bar in uniform. See, I don't know any of this stuff. Like, you should know by now. I just say things, but I appreciate the information there.
Oral and vaginal intercourse, almost every night for 3 months. I broke up with her because she lied to me about something. From there...
What? Lied to you about what? Like,
seems important.
I would like to know. Like, that would be something worth knowing. I guess this is just sexual history, but if you're going to say you broke up about something, well, let's hear it, because it just sounds like you're making it up otherwise.
I went into the Air Force and had one-night stands, as well as after leaving.
But also, like, I did gloss over that there. Like, he met Amanda, who was his boss, and his boss mentioned marriage to him, and he broke up with her. Like, that is bullshit. Like, he loves marriage. Like, and he says this, a few times, but, like, he never wanted to. I mean, he's talking to a kid about getting married. Like,
yeah.
Why say this? It's not true. And if there really was an Amanda and her father was like, Lorne, you'd be perfect for my daughter, you'd be like fucking over the moon. It's just stupidity.
Leaving the Air Force. While in basic training, I met a girl named Jennifer, 18, and kissed her. I was 20. When at my permanent duty station in Alaska, I met a woman named Sarah, 23, and I was 21. I had 3 one-night stands with her. All vaginal intercourse. I also had a one-night...
Three one-night stands. So you didn't have a one-night stand. That's not a one-night stand.
It seems like that's basic knowledge, right? Like what a one-night stand is.
It's in the name. It's a one-night.
Yeah.
night stand with a girl named Gretchen, 22. Also vaginal intercourse, I was 23. After the Air Force, I moved home to Maine, and met a girl named Tina, from Liberty, Maine, 23, and I was 24. I had a one-night stand with her. Vaginal intercourse. I moved to Washington State at the age of 24. There I met and fell in love with Paula, 24. I didn't realize she was a player, so I got hurt deeply, but
he on the assignment he has crossed that out. And obviously that he has been told to cross that out because it's not important information to this kind of thing. Like, he had to put that in because he had to be like, fucking Paula, and they've said, we've asked about your sexual history, Lorne, whether or not, she was a player. That's her sexual history, not yours.
And we don't care if you were hurt deeply.
Exactly right. Like, this is your sexual history. It's not like Lorne's hurt feelings.
I had sex with her once, only vaginal. At age
Only
9.
Vaginal. He really hates it. There was no anal.
Whenever I was at home alone with
he does talk about oral sex in here though, right?
He does, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
specific brother, that was age 14, he would whistle to me and that would be my signal to go to his room so he could feel my private area, and he would have me feel his. This happened up to my age of 12.
Alright, so a few questions here. Why has everything else been chronological and then all of a sudden we're back at 9? And look, I always feel weird saying this because, regardless, if Lorne was sexually abused as he was a child, I don't like saying, I don't like, doubting someone, but I still do not believe that this happened. I just, as I've said, and I could be completely wrong, and at the end of the day, whatever, I just think that if that had happened, that is your excuse when you have been caught for being a pedophile yourself, not fucking Amanda James stole all my Dale Earnhardt shit, you know what I mean? But I could be wrong.
Well, you'd have to guess that there might be some other people in rape class, and the whole time that he's been in there, that have had to discuss childhood traumatic sexual events. So you'd think that when he was going through this, it would have come to mind that needs to be in chronological order, right? Like he didn't just forget.
Yep.
Right? I don't know.
And I agree, and I just think this is, I think he would be a big adopter of other people's stories from in his rape class, because to my recollection, the first time we really heard about this, supposed sexual abuse when he was a kid was when he was talking to Debbie and they were going through the chat log. I think he disclosed to Winnie a little bit earlier, and then he says again, has Winnie told you I know the damage, that kind of thing. But like that is so he was caught on To Catch a Predator, arrested, went through all that time in jail, and like that didn't come out with Ramona or anything. That didn't come out with the earlier Catfish. Like so that's what makes me think that's what. And in those rape classes he's in, I've got no doubt that there are people, because there is, there can be correlations to people that offend and that kind of stuff. So, but I no doubt he has heard stories there, and he's gone, you know what, that does sound a lot better than mac and cheese and fucking basketball. And so he's adopted that. Because why wouldn't that come out earlier? Like if he's got 5 years to sit in jail and go, how did I get here? Like what has led me down this path that I am now, a pedophile? If you had that history, surely that comes into your thinking rather than mac and cheese and basketball hurt feelings.
Yes. Yes.
And also, this might be really pedantic and shitty of me, but why has he left all this blank paper? Like, why did he, like, why has he gone there, do you know what I mean? Like, there's all this blank paper here, and then it's turned over the page. Or was this added in at the end? Was this like, you know what?
So I think he did the pages that we've already read, and then he added this at one point, and then he added what's coming up next at another point.
Yeah, I agree. I reckon Lorne's probably gone through. Geez, I seem like a bit of an arsehole. Better get some sympathy in here. And also, happy Memorial Day, everyone.
Feel my private area, and he would have me feel his. This happened up to my age of 12. At the age of 24, I had vaginal intercourse with a girl named Carrie.
Yeah, sorry, you are exactly right, because that's why this time skipping happens. He's written it all chronologically, and he's like, oh fuck, I forgot about the molestation. Let's go back.
Also 24, from Washington State. At the age of 25, I had oral and vaginal intercourse with a girl named Kathy, 24, from Washington State. At the age of 25, I had vaginal intercourse with Debbie, 26, from Washington State. Age 25, I had vaginal intercourse with a girl named Lisa, in her 30s, from Washington State.
How does he remember all these people's names? And that's the second time he's used Lisa, and I think the second time he uses Christy too.
He's run out of names.
Yeah.
Lisa's fairly common. Let's put another one in there.
Moved back to Maine when I was 26. I had vaginal intercourse with a girl named Christy, 23, from J. At age 26, I had vaginal intercourse with a girl that I don't remember her name, but was also from J.
Well, come on, Lorne. Just make it up. You made all the other names up. Why all of a sudden? Oh, I can't remember her name.
Was 24. At age 27, I moved back to Washington State. That was where I first started going on the internet. I met a girl on there when I was 28. She was also 28, from Pennsylvania. She told me her name was Amanda, but it turned out to be Leslie. She told me the truth about 2.5.
He has to get in the blaming people stuff quickly.
Yeah.
That's the second time he used Amanda too.
That is the second Amanda, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Half years later when I moved back to Maine to be closer to her so we could see each other. I didn't date anyone.
And where was she? She was in Pennsylvania, wasn't she? Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, he moved back to Maine to be closer to her rather than moving to Pennsylvania.
Did he know where in Pennsylvania she lived?
I've never heard it ever heard anything more. What's the word? Closer than Pennsylvania. So I'm assuming.
He probably had to send her the Dale Earnhardt stuff in the mail. So maybe he did.
Yep. Unless she used a PO box and that, but that still would be a city or whatever, wouldn't it?
Yep.
Yep. So interesting.
Or sleep with anyone those 2.5 years. I would masturbate to thoughts of being with her sexually and would also have phone sex with her. After getting over Amanda/Leslie, I had vaginal intercourse with Billy Joe, 30, I was 32, 2 one-night stands, then two
one-night stands.
More one-night stand when I was 34, and she was 32. At age 34, I had a one-night stand with a girl named Kim, 25, only vaginal intercourse. At age 35, I had dated a girl named Brandy, age 35, for
Brandy
2 weeks, only vaginal intercourse.
Well,
at age 35,
Brandy was the one that moved into his house for 2 weeks who was a drug addict.
Yes, that's right.
The second woman he lived with.
Yep. And wasn't there like a song like Brandy and Monique did? Was that The Boy Is Mine? Was that by Brandy and Monique? Because maybe that's where he's pulling these names.
Oh yeah, from. Monica though.
Oh, it's Monica. Oh, that's it.
I had vaginal intercourse.
I thought I'd cracked the code then.
With a girl from back.
Lorne would love that, wouldn't he? Two women, right? If Jamie and Casey wrote a song about, fighting over Lorne. He'd be in heaven.
If he had Carnation and Tulip singing a song about him.
Angor, in her 20s, I don't remember her name. Age 35, I had vaginal intercourse with a girl from Heartland. In her 30s, I don't remember her name. At age 36, I had vaginal intercourse with a girl from Skowhegan. In her 20s. I don't remember her name. At age 35, I met a girl on the internet named Vanessa, 25, from New York. I would have phone sex with her over a year's time. At age 36, I moved to Nashville, Tennessee. I went into an adult...
See, this is why, in the calls, this is why he's so good at the phone sex. He's been doing it for years. He's a pro.
Right.
room, and that
He was probably still getting better at it at that time. That's
Yep.
why he's reached the peak now.
Exactly. Like he's that those 10-minute sessions that sound like he's having a heart attack. He put in the hard work when he was young, so he can be the man he is now.
is where I met my sexual victim, the quote-unquote 13-year-old girl named Kayla. 2 nights before going to the Sting house, I had vaginal intercourse with a girl that was 41 and from Nashville. It was a one-night stand. I don't remember her name.
Because he went to jail.
What's that?
He didn't have 2 one-night stands with her because he went to jail.
That's right. They couldn't get to the second one. But this is like, I mean, okay, obviously we know all of this is bullshit, but like this is how you'd know for sure it's bullshit, because given how extensive that chat log was, you're pretty, and his behaviour in those, you could be pretty certain he wasn't having sex with anyone there, yet he claims that he is. I mean, he had his camera on all the time and able to be viewed all the time. So even if and you know from the chat log, there is such small windows of time where he's not sitting in there going, like, baby, I wish you were awake and all this kind of stuff. So even if he managed to, head down to the bar, pick up someone quickly and bring her home and bang her on the floor, he would have been concerned the whole time that, little Kayla's going to turn on the camera and like, so that's bullshit. Like, he didn't fuck anyone in that whole time he was talking to Kayla, yet he says it here.
And this one night stand, that one that he mentions right there, that one's Mike's mom. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's Mike's mum. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Mike, so in his his little fantasy world, if Kayla had woken up and thought, oh, I'll go turn on Lorne's camera and see if I can see him, or maybe I can have a look at Bud, she'll see Mike sitting there blocking his ears while Lorne's pounding his mum on the floor of another room. So.
And then Mike and Kayla are gonna start talking, and Lorne's gonna lose the love of his life.
Could you imagine? See, there is fan fiction here that could be written.
I was 36. When I was 34 or 35 and on the internet, I was in a country music chat room and met a 15-year-old girl by the name of Molly. We had become good friends, and approximately 2 years after we met, we had began flirting with each other. Before this, I had always been someone for her to talk to about her alcoholic dad and her boyfriend.
And we obviously know that this has at least truth to it in this kind of thing. And isn't it interesting that this is the stuff that, like, everything else is just, met someone in J, 23, vaginal intercourse only, like just the bare bones. But now we've got quite a bit of information here because this is true. So he's got information to draw on, where everything else is just bullshit.
And obviously he had to add this because he didn't even think about it the first time he did this assignment.
Yeah, that's true as well. Like, this is the actual truth and the actual really disgusting, hurt, like the stuff that he should be. This is the stuff he should be right about. This is the stuff that they would want from his sexual history in his rape class. This is the afterthought. But the
stuff that's the same pattern.
Yep.
Friends, and school problems. After she turned 17, we were flirting with each other and I had exposed my penis to her on webcam. About a year after meeting Molly, I met Melissa, 16. Melissa began talking to about her doing drugs and I was able to talk her into stopping the drug usage. I had also met her in a country music room. About a year after meeting Melissa, we began flirting, and I exposed my penis to her over webcam. It was my birthday the night of the sting.
How old did he say Melissa was there?
16?
16. And when he was in like the MySpace Molly stuff and they were talking about, like, he claimed that she was of age, didn't he? Before, I think, later being put on the spot. Like, was it Melissa?
Yes. So this, he says, they met when she was 16. Mm. He showed his penis to her when she was 17. Mm. And according to other stories we've heard, they met when she was over 18.
Yeah.
In real life.
Bullshit.
And I exposed my penis to her over webcam. It was my birthday the night of the sting, and I turned 37. I was supposed to go out to a karaoke bar with a friend for my birthday, but at the last minute decided to go meet the quote-unquote 13-year-old girl, Kayla.
I mean, obviously bullshit. Last minute, like it was countdown every single day. Like he knows that everyone knows this. But even that, like even him
Having to write that it was his birthday for sympathy in his rape class sexual history assignment.
I mean, how could they do that to you on your birthday, Lord?
I really don't know.
And that's in the Sting House and that where he tells Chris, 37 today. Like it was almost like he hoped Chris would turn around and go, well, we can't arrest you on your birthday. I mean, that would just be harsh. So off you go.
Since the sting, I have only masturbated once or twice a week to thoughts of ex-girlfriends that are adults.
Well, we know that isn't true. All right, so that was part 1.
I would sit in front of the computer and talk sexually to what I thought was a 13-year-old
Okay, so this is how did you end up here story.
Girl. I had felt like I had found someone that cared about me and not my wallet. I would continue saying sexual things to her because I thought she wanted me to, and I only wanted to make her happy because I didn't want to lose a person I thought really cared about me as a person, versus me as someone they could use for their own personal gain.
Okay, so he thought that that's what she wanted, even though her responses were, "Okay, cool, and can we talk about something else?"
Yeah, absolutely no indication that she wanted to talk like that means that she does.
Yeah, exactly. And I hate this. Like, I hate how because he says this time and time again. Like, and he did it because he didn't want to lose person that cared about him. Well, that is why every time he would say something like that, there'd be LOLs on the end of that because he was worried, because he did realise that that's the kind of thing that could have someone go, "You're a creep," It's just ridiculous. Like and I don't know if he actually believes this or he just wants to say it, but it's like he believes that the decoy there was like saying, "Come on, tell me how you're going to fuck me or you can fuck off." And he's like, "Oh, no, can't we just talk about something else?" And she's like, "Drop the pants, Lorne." Like, that's just crazy. Like, this is crazy shit.
It seems like he fills in the blanks. Like somebody says something and he draws these huge conclusions about what they must be thinking.
Yep. And if unless someone explicitly says, "No, don't do that anymore. If you do that again, I'm never talking to you again. I'm reporting you to the police," then it's all good.
Right.
I went as far as to show Kayla myself naked on webcam, and even went to quote-unquote her house, even though I knew I didn't want to, and had continuously said as much to quote-unquote Kayla that we couldn't meet until she was 18. But in the end, I went to her quote-unquote her house to meet what I thought was a 13-year-old girl. On the way to Kayla's house, I wanted to turn around and go back home. I almost turned around on the median, but decided I would get off at the next exit and go back home. It turned out that there was a long gap between exits, and the next exit ended up being the one I would use to go to quote-unquote Kayla's house.
How would this be her fault at all? Even if she was like, "Hey, would you please come to my house, please, please, please," and he didn't want to. How can she blame? Yeah.
They're exactly right. Like, there is no blame except on him. Like, he had all, and like, this wasn't like one of the fast movers or anything. Like, Chris would say, like, this wasn't like this all happened, and not that those guys is an excuse either, but it wasn't like this all happened over an hour or two and he's kind of just like, I mean, he had day after day after day to kind of wake up and go, "Fuck, what am I doing? Like, this is a child. Like, just don't go on the internet again." And like, if he didn't want to do this, that's what he would have done. Like, say somehow he was, all fucked up at the time. There would have been so many times that he kind of woke up the next day and gone, "Shit," like, he would have thrown the computer out. He would have disconnected his internet. He would have done something to stop. But even in his stupid half-hearted excuse there, he said he wants to turn around. It acts like there's no exits. Even when he was at the fucking house, if he wanted to turn around, he could have just turned. Like, he turned around several times in the street, obviously trying to see if there was cops or not. So in one of those many turnarounds, Lorne, just keep driving. Go back home to Bud, you know?
There are surely many places before you get into her driveway to turn around.
Well, it is the Bowling Green Autobahn, remember?
Well, yeah, but after you take the exit, even.
Exactly, yeah. Like, it's just bullshit. And he must know it's bullshit. Like, you're writing that down, you must know it's bullshit, but he just goes with it anyway. Because he can't say, I went there because I wanted to go there. I did this because I'm a pedophile.
I got off the next exit and found my way to quote-unquote, her house.
Also, being a grammar Nazi, like, I just love that he can't spell past correct, like it's he's using the wrong tense, but
drove past quote-unquote.
It's so rude how he puts her in quotation marks.
Yeah. like this isn't even really real, like, because it wasn't actually a 13-year-old girl, like, quote unquote, like, just cut that shit out.
Trying to take away some blame.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
House, and turned around in the next driveway, still not wanting to go there. I drove past quote unquote, her house, and went to the rotary just past her house. I stopped on the rotary, and debated whether to go there or not. I began driving.
Like the rotary that he could have used to turn around? Like he's even talking about the fact that he can fucking turn around.
Again, was going to drive past again, until I saw Kayla in the driveway, waving me down. I turned into the driveway and parked my truck. She greeted me as I got out of my truck, and we made small talk as she led me into the house and told me to try out quote unquote, her new chair. I sat in it and she sat across from me on the arm of another chair, explaining the massage and heat and cooling things about the chair.
He remembers a lot about it.
He remembers, like, this is, I mean, Lorne struggles to recount things properly. Like, this is word for word, blow by blow. Like, this is fantastic. Like, this is like he actually sat down and watched the segment and just took notes.
Yeah, I remember she likes to sit on the edge of chairs.
Said I wanted to kiss first.
She asked me if I brought condoms. I told her I did, and they were in the truck. I told her I also brought quote unquote, her, the gift that she asked me to bring.
I really want to know what is under.
Yes.
That bothers me. I really want to know.
Then she said,
"What good are they doing out there?"
Meaning the condoms. I told her I wanted a kiss first. She said,
"Let's talk a bit first."
So I continued sitting still, ready to start talking to her. That's when Chris Hansen walked.
What do you think was the reason that when she asked about condoms, he was like, wait, we haven't even kissed?
That is a good question. Like, I actually don't know. Do you have a theory?
I think he wanted her to make a move.
Yeah, okay. So he even then when like he wanted her to be more what's the word,
like make a concrete step toward having sex before he's gonna go get condoms.
Yeah. Waste my effort going to get them, or I get back in there and you're like, I don't know anymore, Lorne. Oh, where's my mouse gone? There we are.
Out and quote unquote, Kayla left. Chris Hansen sat down across from me and began asking me questions. The first thought in my head was that he was a cop or quote unquote, her father, because I had never seen him on TV before. When he was finished asking me questions because I stopped talking, he asked me if I knew who he was. I told him, no. He told me he was Chris Hansen with MSNBC, and they were doing a segment on child predators. I was pissed because I knew I never wanted to go there. Just then, the TV crew came out with cameras, and I got up saying, "Oh God,"
Well, it wasn't really "Oh God, Lord," like.
and walked out of the house. As soon as I walked
Oh.
out of the house, I got arrested. I ended up here because it was court mandated, along with 60 months of incarceration, lifetime sex offender registry, and lifetime probation.
So even there, like, clearly the whole purpose of this assignment is in how did you end up here is around, how did, over the course of your life, like, how did you get to a point where you think it's okay, or whatever you want to call it, to try to molest children. But his takeout from this is, how I ended up here is I was caught, and the court says I got to be here. Nothing about wanting to make sure that he's he's safe.
That's
to be
a really
around.
good point.
He can't or won't see this for what it is. See himself for who he is.
And nothing about looking at how it was a pattern before that.
Mm-hmm.
Anything about being attracted to children.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, in his previous assignment, like, I know he mentions people like Molly and Melissa and that kind of stuff, but that's exactly right. This whole thing of that he viewed of how I got here is basically what were the step by step, almost. I mean, I'm surprised he didn't go into detail about what the directions to Bowling Green were. Like, I took a left and I got onto the there, and then about 2 kilometers down the road there was a right. Like this is he's basically just saying how I got to my the place where I was arrested. Not how did I get there. Like, when was the first time I started to look at children for in a sexual way or anything like that. Like that's what's wanted here, and he's completely missed it.
Maybe that's why he's still in rape class.
It might be, and Shins Koala says he always makes a point about not knowing who Chris Hansen is, as if it was an insult to Chris. Like, and that is exactly right. Like, he said that a few times, as if kind of this like, I know it's the way he words is almost like he thinks if he turned around and he said, when Chris says, I found, he said, yeah, you're Chris Hansen. I've seen you on To Catch a Predator, as if Chris would have been like had his ego boosted or something. He would have been like, you know what, Lorne, you're not a bad guy. You recognize talent when you see it. It's fucking stupid. So, how do you feel about your offence?
How do you feel about committing your sexual crime?
I feel horrible about committing my sexual crime.
And the other thing I love about these kind of things is a lot of them are like how, like a child would write assignments at school where you've got to meet like a word limit. Like, if you've got to do like a 500 word or 1,000 word limit. So you're soaking up words by repeating the question. Like, he could have just gone, like, the question is, how do you feel about committing a sexual crime? He could have just gone straight into, I felt lost or whatever. He goes on about, but he needs to repeat the whole question again, because that's 7 words. 8 words, sorry.
Not to mention, he wrote the title at the top.
Another 8 words. We're 16 words into this 500 word assignment. I am killing it.
I feel lost at how I could have allowed myself to say the terrible things I said to what I thought was a 13-year-old girl. And how I could expose myself on webcam, naked, to my victim. Her name was Kayla Moore. The pain, confusion, distrust.
Why did he add that?
I don't know. I don't know. That's got no context here whatsoever.
No, because he's not continuing, like, saying Kayla.
Yeah.
That's weird.
It's weird. Like, why did he use her full name, and also he's no longer using quote unquote anymore. Like he's, there's a few things throughout these assignments. Like why did you put that?
Mm-hmm.
Physical and emotional pain I could have put my victim through, had it been an actual child. After all the inner and outer anger I have felt with myself and others, I have finally come to terms with the gravity of what I could have done.
Who is he mad about? Who is he mad at?
I don't
The
know.
outer anger he's felt toward others?
I mean, I assume people like, like Chris Hansen and
NBC?
at MSNBC and Xavier and probably the other people in his rape class, because he does talk about that a lot, doesn't he? About how disgusting they are and all this kind of stuff, as if he's removed from them. Like he talks about when he's in rape class sometimes, as if he's like a psychology student who's attending these, sitting in the back making notes and all this kind of stuff. Like he's not an active part of this who is in there for the exact same reason as everyone else is there. It's very weird.
Well, he says he doesn't usually speak. He just listens.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I feel
But he
thankful that
is
it was a
different in his opinion to
Yep.
the other people that are in there because they have real victims and he doesn't think he does.
That's right. So he views the fact that he never actually, had physical intercourse with a child, that he's any different, and like completely ignoring from the fact that the only reason he had it wasn't through lack of trying. Like if Molly had met him with whatever was going on at the fair there, same as Melissa, if Kayla was real, he would have done the physical act happily. But on top of that, and this annoys me so much, which is exactly what you were saying just then, ignoring the fact that everything he has done is incredibly damaging. The exposing himself, the making them, masturbate and all this kind of stuff. That's as damaging as if he had done the real thing. But he just seems to think, well, I didn't get to do it, so I'm different to these guys. He's no different. He's just unsuccessful.
Ding.
He even wrote in there, like, it would have been bad if it had been real, if there had been an actual child.
Yep.
So it's not that bad.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, it still is your actions. It is still what you like. It is still what your fantasy is. It is still what your sexual proclivity is. But on top of that, there has been real victims.
Right.
Molly is a real victim that you have said you did the same shit to, and I'm sure you did. I mean, he has admitted to exposing himself to her, but I'm sure it was very similar to what he said to Kayla. Like, I'm sure all that same stuff is the same. All the jealousy about other boys, all the do your experimenting for you and that, because it would be ridiculous to think that all of us, like, he didn't progress and escalate to this. Like, it'd be ridiculous to think that he just met Kayla and he's like, you know what, I'm into all this kind of shit. Like, he would have been doing that with Molly. He just won't say it.
Right.
Mad
He did
because of-
say on the other page that he did expose himself to Molly and to Melissa.
Yep, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, not that I'm saying that that's not enough, but it would be the exposing, the wanting all their time, the jealousy, the do your experimenting for me, all that kind of shit.
Yep.
of the media coverage.
How do you feel about committing the sexual offense?
I feel terrible about my sexual offense to Molly, 15, and Melissa, 16. I feel as though I stole part of their innocence and took away their trust that they deserve to have from an adult. They deserve to have that time of their life to be spent with people their own age and enjoy their youth. I feel very selfish for stealing that amount of time from them.
And those
are very empty words.
Incredibly empty words. Like, and he focuses on, and I mean, yes, that is basically focuses on stealing time away from them, like, time away from, their, friends their own age, that kind of stuff. Which, yes, that is a part of it. I mean, if you look at the stuff with Kayla and that, like, if Kayla was real and, this continued on for as many years as he wanted to before she aged out, like, that would have been, like, it would have been, very detrimental. That, like, it would start isolating her from her friends and that kind of thing. But that is what he is willing to talk about. But that is pretty small scale in terms of the damage he was doing with all the sexual stuff. But he doesn't want to go into that too much. And the other thing is, so, like, he's mentioned it a few times, like in the case he calls about, how it's selfish behaviour. Like, yes, like there is elements there that are selfish, but I mean that's such just skimming the top of that. Like, it's depraved. Like, but he feels like, it's because I'm selfish. Like, well, yes, you are a selfish person, Lorne, but if you were just selfish, you would not be victimizing children.
Mm.
How do you believe your victim feels about being sexually abused by you?
When going from telling my victim, Kayla, age 13, that I wanted to protect her, to talking to her sexually and showing myself naked to her on webcam, and then showing up at her house could have only confused my victim because her expectation that adults are supposed to protect children set forth distrust in men with my victim, Kayla, because with my actions, she could have wondered when the next man will try to do what I tried to do to her. And more than likely took away some of my victim, Kayla's, confidence because of the way I violated her.
Angry.
My victim, Kayla, has to be angry because of all the trust that I took away, and being stripped of her innocence at such a young age.
Sad.
My victim, Kayla, also must feel sad and constantly asking herself,
Why me?
and
What did I do wrong?
Depressed.
my victim, Kayla, must feel depressed from my actions because I took away so much innocence from her, and she must feel like some parts of her are not as good as other people, and is not a confidence.
It's not
Anxiety.
a confidence. What?
My victim,
What? She must feel like some parts of her are not as good as other people and is not a confidence. What the fuck does that mean?
Maybe it was meant to be is not as confident.
Yeah, that is such he is such a weird way with words.
But this is so superficial.
Mm-hmm.
Sad. She must be sad.
Yep.
Depressed. She's probably depressed.
And it's all this, like, over and over he has said, either angry or sad or depressed, and it's all because, took her innocence away and trust. And yes, that would definitely be a part of it, but like you say, it's just so superficial.
Kayla, must have anxiety and fear that someone may try violating her again.
Confusion.
He does know what anxiety means.
He does.
Or at least there, it makes it look like it.
Maybe he thinks there's a difference between, like, anxious and anxiety. Like, anxiety is the negative one. Anxious is excitement. Which, I don't want to get into that. I know there's been, it's a shit way to use anxious.
Victim, Kayla, must feel confused, and possibly blaming herself for agreeing to take part in my fantasy and plans to violate her sexually.
Wow.
In this assignment, Lorne Armstrong had to write a letter to himself, as if it were written to him from Kayla. Does this sound like something that a victim of childhood sexual abuse would want to say to the person who stripped them of their innocence and ruined their life? Fuck you, Lorne.
I felt terrible at the time you were abusing me. I felt like the only thing I was good for.
Sorry. Okay, this is obviously not funny, but look at the top line that he's crossed out. He
What's
started.
it say?
It says, "I can only imagine the way you felt about the way I had talked to you." So he started writing it as if he was writing to Kayla. He didn't even understand the assignment.
Big surprise.
It's always focused on him.
Was for
Do you know
sexual
that,
reasons.
like, everything he keeps saying, she must have felt terrible. I said terrible things. It
Yep.
was terrible of me to do that.
Terry. I can't. That is so funny to me. But that's right. Everything's just terrible. He just uses the same things over and over again.
Yep.
I have learned through time that the reason you must have done that was because you were, for some reason, feeling unwanted at the time.
Like this is bullshit. This is what he thinks the victim of his sexual abuse would be thinking. He honestly thinks that if he had Kayla's real, and for more than a month, he exposed himself to her. He did all this kind of stuff that she would be thinking, you know what? I realise that you must have felt unwanted. Like, this is crap. Like, this is either shows how delusional he is, or it just shows that he doesn't want to actually get into this at all, and he wants the teacher or whoever's reading this to consider these points. Like, as if when they read this, they'll go, you know what, Lorne, that you are exactly right. You probably were feeling unwanted. Like it's bullshit. You go.
I think it's really good evidence here that he might not have been a victim if he can't put himself in the shoes of a victim.
That is exactly right. That is really well said, because that's the thing. If he was a victim, he would be able to pull on the emotions and that Kayla would be feeling, because he would have those. If what he alleges his brother did to him, well, he would feel like this. So is that how Lorne thinks that people feel? So is he thinking back to the time that his brother made him do that and thinking, you know what, bro, you must have just felt it unwanted. I get it. I get it, man. Like fuck off. 100%.
My feelings about you today are confused, as I do not know all the facts of what you had at hand for problems. But I think that it would be hard for me to ever talk to you again, without thinking of the past. What I would like to see happen, is for you to get yourself to where you never do again the things you did to me, and to have a good life.
And that, once again, goes back to the point you just made before. Like, if he was there is no way he would think about that. So is he thinking, if his brother had molested him, is that what he's thinking about his brother? I just hope, you get to a point where everything's good for you and you have a good life. Like, that, there's no way. There's no way a victim of childhood abuse would be thinking this about their abuser. Like it's so insulting.
So when he says, I think it would be hard for me to, as Kayla, it would be hard for me to talk to you again.
Mm.
How would he even think she'd consider that?
Well, that's exactly
right. Is it
right.
because he always has to talk to people again?
He'll talk to all of his catfish again, so he must think
he always answers the phone.
Yeah. And once again, like, even if these were things that a victim would bring up, like, why would a victim even be thinking about, like, why would that be even a consideration in their mind? Like, say that Kayla was real and, she's grown up and she's got quite a bit of trauma from what Lorne did to her, and her therapist has said, you know what, Kayla Moore, something that really helps people is to write a letter to the person that did it. You don't have to send it, but it lets you get all your... So he really thinks that she'll be sitting there going, I don't know if we can ever talk again without me thinking about the past. Like, but hey, it's up in the air. You never know, Lorne. You're like, let's give it a few more years, and like let's try to talk more. Like that wouldn't even be a consideration. Like it's
He wants her to call him.
yeah.
That's what he wants. He's hoping that Kayla calls.
Maybe that's why he keeps answering the phone. The hope it's like Sherry Twist on the other line. Like, remember me, Lord?
Southern Aphrodite.
Southern Aphrodite, yeah, that's the
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Hi, Lord.
That sounded like Mama Gwen.
Well, that's the only, apart from my own voice, that's the only other voice I can do. So everything tends to be Mother Gwen.
Victim questions assignment. Please answer the following questions as if the person you victimized was asking you directly. Be thorough and comprehensive in your responses. If you have victimized more than one.
So he's supposed to be thorough and comprehensive in his assignments. Without even reading that, do you see how much space there is left?
Exactly right. Like thorough and comprehensive. They've even given you, like, they've given you an amount that you should be writing. And I mean, that second one there, he hasn't even done 4 lines. It's just, fucking idiot.
But he's completed the workbook.
Yep. And this is what he thinks completed is like just getting something down on the page.
Mm-hmm.
Person, complete this assignment for each person you victimized.
Why did you do those things to me?
I did those things because you made me feel special, and gave me attention that I was longing for a long time. I thought that what I was doing would make you feel special too, and didn't want to lose the attention I was getting from you.
Oh, fuck off.
Why did you pick me? What did I do?
I did not target you. You just gave me something I hadn't gotten in a long time, and at the time, I couldn't think straight.
Yeah, he would have done that
Should
to
I-
any 13-year-old that he came across.
Yeah, you're not special, Kayla. You just happen to be there. But this is he is saying nothing. Like he will not ever try to deal with the fact that he has an attraction to children.
No.
And I'm not saying that would be something easy for anyone to deal with, but you have to. He has to, and he won't do it, which is why he'll never get out of these classes, because that is the key thing to all of this. All this other stuff is just bullshit.
Trust you anymore? Why?
I cannot make that decision for you. I would not blame you if you chose not to.
And actually, just going
The
back,
answer is no.
yeah, exactly right. But yeah, like Shin's Koala just made a point about when on that last one where he said it'd be hard, like he said that she thought that it would be hard to talk again. Is that a slip and mistakenly meant for his nieces? Like that's a good, like, because they're also victims of him. And, when he thinks about what they're saying, is he thinking about that? Like it's all good theories. But yeah, like as he's like, the answer should just be no. But he's like, I can't make that decision for you.
But I would make it a point to not disappoint you if you chose to allow yourself to trust me again.
Did you ever think I was scared? How did you think I felt? Why?
I never thought you were scared. As you kept agreeing with things I was saying. I thought you liked what I was saying, and all I thought about doing what made you happy.
How do you think the
Even
abuse?
in the phone call between Lorne and Kayla right before he was supposed to come, she wanted to get off the phone. She said she was getting nervous, and he was like, you shouldn't be nervous.
Exactly. Like, and there was, like the very first call they had, like, where she was like, he's like, he's still feeling nervous. And she's like, yeah, a little bit. And he's like, oh yeah, but not as much as you thought you were. Like, so dismissive of all the times that he was told that, she was nervous or any of this kind of stuff. Like, he was so dismissive of everything. And like, one of the bits in the chat log that makes me, the chat log and the phone calls that makes me most mad, which sometimes I think like it's odd for these kind of the parts that make me mad because you're thinking the disgusting stuff he is doing and saying to her. But like when she's like, oh, I've got to go. My parents are home and they're yelling at each other. Like Southern Aphrodite does a very good job at sounding like a very scared little kid then. And his response is, well, okay, get straight back on the computer. Like there is no care and. Like, not that I'm saying I want Lorne to care for her or anything like that, but there's no consideration at all. There's no, wow, she's pretty scared right now. It's just fill my needs. I'm not finished jerking off for the night, so you better get back on the computer while your parents are downstairs yelling at each other. Like and I don't know if that's a weird. Sorry.
Yeah, he's supposed to be in love with her, but he doesn't have any human consideration for something that might be upsetting her.
No, not at all. And I don't know if that's a weird thing to be mad about considering all the other stuff. And obviously everything is something to be mad about. But just even when he thinks he is being a good guy, he is just an asshole. And then like the further it goes on, just isolating this kid from all her friends and all this kind of stuff, it's just so infuriating.
Use has affected my life?
I can only imagine that it has caused you to second guess your self-worth, and the real meaning of what sex should be. Love/hate, confusion, guilt over perpetrator going to jail, closes off.
What? Guilt over perpetrator going to jail. And this is what's so frustrating. He believes this. He believes that, and he probably believes the same thing about Molly and Melissa, that kind of stuff. He would believe they would be thinking, oh, poor Lorne, I can't believe he's got to go to jail now. Like, that's so fucked.
It also annoys me because he just lists some things instead of talking about any of them. At least in this part, he had like some ideas of other things that he could discuss about this point, but instead of actually looking into any of them, he just made a list.
Yeah.
Feelings, can't tolerate emotional pain, low self-esteem, not sure what is normal, insomnia, feels crazy.
Insomnia.
And they're just dot points that he's written in the form of a sentence. It's like be what was the word, like thorough and whatever.
Thorough.
And he's just like insomnia, feel crazy, low self-esteem. Maybe guilty about me going to jail. Fuck off.
Didn't you feel guilty about what you did, and tell yourself not to do it again? Then why did you keep doing it?
I did feel guilty about what I did, and told myself not to do it again. I got lost in the attention you were giving me, and thought what I was doing would make you feel special too.
Jesus Christ.
Who signed that?
That's a good question.
Did somebody approve of this assignment?
I would not want to be putting my signature to this. So, I assume that is whatever, whoever runs his class did. So they've gone, yeah, that's about as much as we can expect from Lorne. Righto.
Well, that's true.
I guess
that part is true.
You might have to, maybe they, I assume with Lorne, they're just like, we are never going to get anywhere. So this is just a run the clock down type situation.
Make you feel special too.
Lifetime. They're just running his life clock down then.
Exactly. Like what's the point? He's never going to learn. Touching and boundaries.
Oh, good.
Touching and boundaries. Before each type of contact, mark if you think it is always okay for you, sometimes okay for you, or never okay for you. After each, explain in what situations that this is okay, or why it is not okay. Giving a massage.
How many times did he have to cross things out and try again on this?
I know. Isn't it great? And what is the... Oh, hang on a second. I haven't read the thing. So A is always okay, S is sometimes okay, and N is never okay. I was like... Because he's even had to cross those out.
Yes.
It is sometimes okay to give a massage, if it is a female only, or brother.
Handshake.
What? I don't.
He's answering this like somebody's like, "Hey, Lorne, do you feel comfortable giving massages?"
Yeah.
How do you think other people would feel if you try to give them a massage?
You're exactly right. Like this whole assignment is about boundaries and consent, and all Lorne has taken it as he goes through time and time again. He mows well. Rather than doing this, he should have just got a red pen and written, "I am not gay," like, because that's all he wants to come out this. He wants the reader to go, "Lord would never touch a dude." Like, no one gives a fuck. Like, in any retrospect, especially in this day and age, no one gives a fuck if you're gay. But especially in your fucking rape class, that doesn't matter. Like, they don't give a shit if you're gay or not. Like they want to know, do you understand that unless you're given permission, you can't touch someone? Well, is there a guy? You don't have to worry about that at all.
It is always okay to give a handshake.
Pat on the back.
It is sometimes okay, I mean never okay, to pat someone on the back. Depends on my mood.
Pat.
What does that mean? He doesn't want anyone patting him on the back. That's what he means, right?
Yeah, depends on my mood. Oh, I'm in the mood for a bad pat today.
Pat on the butt.
Pat on the butt.
It is always okay, I mean sometimes okay, to pat someone on the butt, if it is a female that gives permission.
If it is a female.
Okay, but it's never okay to pat somebody on the back, but it's sometimes okay to pat them on the butt.
So, and you know what I love about this? So, firstly, he's gone always. So, he's just like, fuck yeah. And then he's like, ooh, they might not like that. So, now it's sometimes. But, so it is sometimes okay if it's a female. And that is what he wrote in pen. And what he put in pencil afterwards, because obviously he's been told that's not okay, or he's looked back and he's gone, is that gives permission. So, originally this read, always if it's a female, and then he's gone, sometimes if it's a female and they give permission. So consent is always the last thought for Lorne.
Kissing.
Correct.
It is always okay, I mean sometimes okay, to kiss someone, if female gives permission, or if it is family.
Hugging.
It is always okay to
do you
give.
think he kisses his family?
I think he
Like
wants
on the
to.
mouth?
I think he wants to.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Because he talks about how, Mama Gwen was hot. I mean, I don't know when that was, but apparently she was hot. And then he's talked about,
she had a good body. Yeah,
she had a good body. Remember, and so he jokes around with Elton about, how Elton wanted to fuck his sister and all that kind of stuff like that. These are all things that normal families do not do. You know what I mean? It's like if most people, like, if your friend was joking around how, they want to fuck your sister, you would, you'd tell him to go fuck himself, not be like, oh, that's pretty funny.
That's offensive usually.
Exactly right.
But he was encouraging it.
Yeah, he loved it. Like, and once again, the gives permission has to be added in as the afterthought.
Also,
Someone a hug.
that just, the hair brushing thing goes along with that too.
Uh-huh.
With the sister.
Uh-huh.
If
And that is clearly a fetish of his, the hair brushing. Like, he's talked about that so many times that is obviously a somewhat of a sexual fetish for him, which, so the fact that he talks about how much he liked it when his sister did just, is pretty gross.
And it seems
Female.
like he's had conversations with the catfish about not being allowed to cut their hair.
Uh-huh. Absolutely. Like, he is very, because that's what, like, I mean, if I remember correctly, like with Kayla even, like he said, never cut your hair. I like long hair. Like, it's fucked.
or brother, family member, or close friend.
Holding hands.
It is always okay, I mean sometimes okay, to hold someone's hand if they are female, with permission, or my mother.
Mother! So he holds his hands with his mum. Is that the takeaway there? That's
if they're
weird.
going to Walmart together or something,
Like,
I guess.
as an adult, to be like, to me that's weird. Fucking hell.
That's weird.
Touching
Thank you.
genitals.
It is never okay, I mean sometimes okay, to touch someone's genitals, unless I am with a female.
Giving a high five.
Once again, Lorne,
It is always okay to give someone a high five, with agreement.
with agreement.
Bumping into someone.
That doesn't look like his handwriting.
No, it doesn't.
Like where it says with permission, with agreement, those don't look like they're his handwriting.
That's right. But and it's funny that some do. Like that one there with agreement, that doesn't look like his handwriting. The pat on the butt where it's like if it's a female and then written in that gives permission, that one does. Like that does look like his handwriting. So he didn't write anything there into giving high five, and it looks like maybe the teacher or someone else has written with agreement. Which is like, I don't know, like, maybe we give high fives differently over here, but I've never thought to go, not that I probably give a lot of high fives, but like sometimes if you're at a sporting match or something, you might give a high five, but like agreements, that's weird. God, we're going to high five now. Are you okay with that? Yes, let's do it.
It is never okay, I mean sometimes okay, to bump into someone. I hate it when that happens.
Why would it be a violation of boundaries for you to watch someone undress, if they were not aware of it?
Because you do not have their consent.
Why is exposing yourself to someone a violation of a non-physical boundary?
Because not everyone wants to see what you have. You would be violating their psychological boundaries.
Not everyone wants to see what you have.
But he's outside of his house naked.
Well, clearly he thinks his neighbours want to see what he has. I love this next bit, the examples of verbal boundaries.
Yes.
Some of these answers.
What are some examples of verbal boundaries that you should watch out for?
Nice ass. Those are some big jugs. What I could do with those lips.
Those are some big jugs.
Are these things he has to be careful not to say? He's having to watch out for the things he might say to someone?
I'm guessing so. You see Lorne sitting in class with like Ellie or whatever, and he's like, "Don't say big jugs, don't say big jugs."
But also, apparently somebody has told him he has a nice ass. That's what he told Jamie.
Yeah, that's right. Like, who? Like, why is people saying this to you?
Where do you need to do more work on your boundaries?
At the present time, no place, because I keep to myself and am not ready to make any moves on women.
But
I don't really think that's what they're asking.
No, that's not what they're asking. Like, they're asking, what do you need to do in general to improve? But even then, like, he's basically like, I don't need to do any work because at this present time, I'm not trying to harass anyone. Like, it's just the fact that
I'm not currently stalking anyone.
So there's no need to work on this. Like, when I find my next victim, then maybe I need to do some work on my boundaries then. Really weird.
Once I have the woman, then I will work on what I'm not supposed to do.
I'm going to wait until the next time I feel compelled to say those are some not big jugs, and then we'll see.
Offender personality self-assessment. This test is to determine whether you are similar to other people who commit crimes. People who commit crimes behave in certain ways. These behaviors show how these people have learned to think. Although you may not like to think of yourself as having an offender personality, it is important for you to find out if you do. The problems that your thinking and behaviors lead to clearly point to a serious problem. Read the following descriptions and check yes, if this has happened to you or if you have done this, and check no, if this has not happened to you or you have not done this. Part 1, Before age 15.
Before age 15, I did not often skip school because I didn't want to be there or because I wanted to do other things. Before
He
age
dropped
15,
out of school
I did not
because
run
he
away
wanted to work, right?
That is right.
Maybe not before he was 15.
Yeah, I don't know what age he dropped out, but maybe he gets a pass there.
from home or where I lived at least 2 times, overnight. Before age 15, I did not start physical fights with others more than once. Before age 15, I did not use a gun, knife, club, chain, or other weapon in more than one fight. Before age 15, I did not force someone into sex or sexual activity. Before age 15, I was not cruel to or hurt animals. Before age 15, I did not physically hurt other people. Before age 15, I did not destroy or damage other people's property on purpose. Before age 15, I did not set fires on purpose. Before age 15, I did not often lie to other people. Before
When
age
was the
15,
last time he lied?
I did not.
What was that?
When was the last time he lied? Was he 11? Wasn't that right?
That's right. That's right. So there was some lying before the age of 15.
Yeah.
Take things that didn't belong to
Come on,
me.
Lord.
I did not forge checks, and I did not break into places to steal more than once. Before age 15, I did not force people to give me things that belonged to them.
Add up the check marks in the yes column and do the same for the check marks in the no column. If you have 3 or more answers in the yes column, you act and think similarly to people who commit crimes. This behavior usually starts very early in life. This means you will have to work hard to change the way you think and act. Part 2, since age 15.
Since age 15, I haven't not worked when there was work available. I have not skipped work or classes because I wanted to, or have quit several jobs or schools without having any plans for the future.
He said no to that.
No, come on. That's a yes.
He quit a job so he could talk more to his 13-year-old girlfriend. He quits jobs all the time, or is fired from them. He skips days because he's too hungover. Like, that is bullshit.
He skips days because he's crying too much.
Exactly.
Since age 15, I have not committed crimes or have done illegal things that I could have been arrested for.
What?
Since age
You've been to jail for 5 years, in more than that in that time. Is he serious? I don't understand what he's saying. You have committed crimes. You've been charged and arrested for those crimes.
15,
And
I have not
committed
had
others that he should have been arrested for, too.
Exactly right.
many physical fights or have beaten up my spouse, lover, or children.
Well, fortunately, you don't have a spouse, lover, or children, so yes, you have not beaten them up, but...
Since age 15, I have failed to pay bills or child support,
But his
or I have
brother-
failed to take care.
What was that?
He's gotten in physical fights with his brother.
Well, that's true. That's exactly right. But they didn't list brother. They didn't list
Yeah.
brother there, so...
of my family. Since
"Thank
age
God."
15, I have moved without having a job, I have drifted from place to place, or have lived without a home for more than a month at a time. Since age 15, I have not lied, used a false name, or conned people to get what I want. Since age 15, I have driven a car recklessly while using or drinking and have acted in ways that cause
What about
danger to
conning
others.
people?
Yeah, okay, I guess he didn't use a false name in that, but clearly what he did with Betty was conning her. So that's also a yes. So the word
Yeah, he
problems
lied
is
to
a
get what he
yes.
wanted.
Yeah, so far he has one no.
Since age 15, I have not failed to take care of my children by leaving them alone, not feeding them, or depended on others to take care of them for me.
Technically.
Since age 15, I have never been able to stay faithful to a sexual partner for more than 1 year. Since age 15, I have felt bad most of the time.
Like it is technically a yes, but they haven't actually had any real partners, so you know.
He hasn't been able to stay faithful to a partner for more than a year because he hasn't had a partner
Yeah.
for more than a year.
Exactly.
Time when I have stolen, hurt, or treated someone else badly.
Add up the check marks in the yes column and do the same for the no column. If you have 4 or more answers in the yes column, it means you act and think similarly to people who commit crimes. If you did not have 3 or more answers in the yes column on the before age 15 section, it means that your offender behavior is completely connected to your alcohol and drug use. One way to make sure is to review your answers in the yes column on the since age 15 section, and ask yourself if these things always happened when you were trying to get alcohol or drugs, using alcohol or drugs, or because you had been using alcohol or drugs recently. If alcohol and drugs were not part of why you did these things, ask yourself what happened or changed in your life that made you start doing them.
So, even by his own false assessment, he has 4, and 3 or more, makes you at risk of, will put you in line with people that commit crimes. But
Means you're a criminal or criminal-like.
But the actual answer is what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Is 8, and the only reason it's not more than that is because he's not a parent, so the answer is by default no to that one, and is also, no, that's it. Yeah, so he's he's way off.
Ask yourself what happened or
I think the X for the relationships one, he didn't write that.
Oh, okay. Yep, because because he has more of a it is different handwriting, isn't it?
So whoever helped him with this was the one that tipped it over into the criminal mindset category.
changed in your life that made you start doing them. Complete the sentences below and think about what they mean in your recovery. How do you feel about the results of the test you just took?
I think the conclusion for the scoring is inaccurate because of my circumstances in my life.
What do you think about the results of the test you just took?
I think too many items are in one question.
So, once again, these questions are, what do you think about the results here in terms of, the results that have, shown up quite badly? Like, what do you think about that in terms of, do you need to change things? Do you think maybe you should stop drinking alcohol? Do you think maybe you need other help? Are you concerned about that kind of thing? But he's just taking this as a chance to complete a survey for the questioner saying, your fucking quiz sucks. This completely missed the point.
Do you want to?
I mean, maybe he doesn't realize, but most people do have circumstances.
Exactly right. That's
so
how they.
You can't that's what they're asking about.
Yeah.
Given the context of your life, did you do these things?
Yeah. And Lorne's takeaway is, there was no sections, that said this was okay as long as you had been kicked off the basketball team or had been catfished for.
There weren't any questions asking me what everybody else did.
Exactly right. How is this test in, how can this be a real test if there's no accountability for others?
Results of the test you just took.
Fix the problems that I know are true, and tell the people that wrote this book to not put quote-unquote trap questions/options in any future books.
Fucking asshole.
It is normal to feel angry or upset.
There were questions to set him up.
Yep.
I don't.
About the results of this test. Some people think this test doesn't mean anything and try to ignore the results. Part of what causes people to continue to get into trouble with the law is that they ignore things that they do not want to hear. This is called denial. You can quit here and repeat the past, or you can decide to change by continuing to look at yourself critically. In order to change, you must accept who you are now. Complete the following sentences. If I do not change the way I think, I will probably
lose my head again.
If I do change the way I think, I might be able to
straighten my life back out and live the life I have always wanted. Or close to it.
Close to it.
Not likely.
No.
Not likely. We're pretty far into your life now.
He still holds out hope, though. You know, you never know. Never too late to be the country star.
My sexual thoughts from the sting were all based around thinking that my quote-unquote victim wanted me to say these things so that she would know that I cared about her. I was going to do anything I could to make her happy because I just wanted.
There is a victim. He can put quotation marks around it, but there was somebody that had to read that.
Absolutely.
It wasn't a 13-year-old, but somebody was a victim.
Yeah.
Of that chat log.
For months.
About me, and I didn't want to lose her. I thought that in order to not lose her, that I would have to keep talking sexually to her. I talked to her about having oral, vaginal, and anal intercourse. Since being out of incarceration, I have only had one internet relationship and would masturbate to thoughts of being with the girl.
So, did he... not that I want to give him... Like, he never talked about anal intercourse.
Not that I remember at all. Not with Kayla.
No, I mean, I could be wrong, but I mean, between all of the Lorne's, like, I've heard that chat log a fair bit, and he never mentioned anal. So, like, I mean, I know he is obsessed with it, but, like, why is he putting that there? He obviously clearly thinks he did.
Quote unquote.
He doesn't know the chat log very well.
No, that's true. Because he just read to see the places where he said no, and then knew that it was doctored.
Mona, 25, of Maryland. I had also sent her nude images of myself through my cell phone. At the present time, I am talking to Casey, 30, from California, that I have met face to face. She is the actress from The Sting.
And he classes meeting her face to face as The Sting. That's what.
And I wonder if he's changed that part for the next time he has to turn it in to let them know that wasn't the real Casey.
Turns out
now he's met the real Casey.
It's so funny. And you can see, because you know how they, like, they'll talk to him about, Lorne, it looks like you're being catfished again. How do you know this person is real? How do you know what their age is? All that kind of stuff. He's clearly said to them, I know she's real. I met her. We recorded our first date, actually. It's on YouTube.
I have it. It's labeled Evidence Exhibit A.
What makes a relationship a sexual relationship?
When two people consummate.
Name some sexual behaviors or situations that cannot be considered a sexual relationship.
A kiss on the cheek, a hug, a one-night stand, a pat on the leg.
A one-night stand is not a sexual relationship? Like...
He really doesn't... What does he think it is?
I don't know.
Leg, a massage.
Are male-male and female-female sexual relationships appropriate?
For myself, no. But shit happens in the world and it's none of my business what other people prefer.
That is the closest, Lorne will ever get to any kind of, acceptance and non-ignorance. Like, that is...
That is pretty full of ignorance, though.
Well, it is. It absolutely is. But for how homophobic he is, but you can see, like, once again, he's crossed out because he went to write, in my opinion, but he's gone for myself. No, so he thinks that's restrained. So he thinks he's just saying, look, not for me, but shit happens.
Role of a male in a sexual relationship. What is the role of the female?
The role of the male is to pamper and please. The role of the female is to feel special and make the male aware that he's made her happy.
That's honestly what he thinks.
But okay, based on what we know, could he fulfill the role of the male?
well, well, he thinks he can't please, but and
He
he doesn't have
cannot.
the money to pamper. So he is
Uh-oh.
he does like to be made to feel special though. So maybe he could fulfill the female role. But I just think that's so funny that he thinks the whole role of a female, quote unquote female, in a relationship is to feel special and to make the man aware that they've made them happy. Like, so he would view a functional relationship as, he would come home from work, ready to pamper and please, and she'd be like, Lorne, you have made me happy. And that's pretty much all they would have to do. That's a functional relationship.
Well, that's what happened in Taken Abroad.
That is. And I would say Lorne views that relationship, even though it ends in, murder and multiple murders and himself being murdered.
You have to remember the man that Aaron used to be.
That's exactly right. And really, when you were that kind of man, did anyone really die? Is anything murder? I mean, it's and it's at the end of the day, everyone kind of mourned over his gravestone. So,
Yeah.
Describe a healthy sexual relationship.
When both are happy with the outcome of the experience.
Thorough. That's the key word.
That's it.
Pre-offense pattern assignment.
Before my offense, I was living in Maine. I had a septic business and made good money. My siblings liked my money a lot. Especially my older sister and oldest brother. They did everything they possibly could to get more money from me. I felt I was obligated to help them so that they wouldn't have a hard time with money, so I never said no to them. Finally, it got to the point that I was getting used so badly, that it felt nobody cared about me unless I had money to give to them. That's when I decided to leave Maine and move to Nashville, Tennessee. The first couple of weeks I was in Nashville, I stayed busy looking for and getting a job and getting myself settled into my new apartment and getting to know my surroundings in Nashville. The third week I started to slow down because I was all settled in and didn't have anything that I needed to do right away, but I also didn't have anyone to do anything with. Because of the boredom I was feeling, I decided to go on the internet. I wouldn't spend a lot of time on the internet, but would start going into the chat rooms more and more until I ended up noticing a 13-year-old girl that nobody would talk to. I decided that I would talk to her so she wouldn't feel bad. My intentions were to only talk to her to be nice. But as I continued talking to her, I enjoyed helping her with her problems. She would also talk to me about my problems, and I started spending more time on the computer to talk to her. I loved the attention she was giving me because it felt like someone cared about me again. I told her that we wouldn't be able to meet until she was 18. Her response of,
"You mean we can only be boyfriend and girlfriend on here?"
meaning on the internet, let me know that if we didn't meet in person before she turned 18, then I was going to lose the feeling of someone caring about me, and it would be her. I didn't want to lose that feeling, but I also didn't want to meet her before she was 18 and end up in jail because of it. I had fantasized about getting married to her and having kids together. I had even talked sexually to her and showed her myself naked on webcam.
So he still, even after all this time, doesn't realise that he can and did get in trouble for everything he did on the internet already with it. Like it's like he thinks that if he never showed up, but they were aware of the talking and the exposing and that, they'd just be like, well, if he doesn't come to the house, we've got nothing. Like, he just, even after all these classes, after all this time, he still doesn't get what he actually did wrong.
No. Mm-mm.
He thinks what he did wrong was turn up to the house. That's it.
Yes. What is all the writing on there?
The numbers and stuff.
Yeah, I wonder what that goes to.
I don't know.
About having sex with her on her 18th birthday and had even told her that. The longer I talked to her, the more I wanted to do whatever I could do to make her happy. But I still didn't want to meet her and end up in jail. But I knew if I didn't meet her, then I was going to lose someone caring about me. Eventually, I agreed to meet her on my birthday. All the way to her house, I kept telling myself I should turn around and go home. Even when I got to the house, I drove past it a couple times and even around the rotary that was near it, even stopping at the rotary because I needed to go home. But I had made her a promise that I would show up. So I went back to the house. She was in the driveway waving me down and I pulled in, went in the house with her, and I sat in a chair. After talking to her for a couple minutes, Chris Hansen from MSNBC came out. I didn't have a clue who he was because I never seen him before in my life, but because of the way he acted, I thought he was a cop. I knew I was going to jail.
I knew I was going to jail.
So don't you think it's weird that he said he fantasized about marrying her and having children? That's one of the things he talks about, that he, like with the girls from high school, I fantasized about them meeting my family.
Yeah. But, he fantasized about marriage, but in his other assignments and the other times, he'll have you believe that when marriage was brought up, he ran for the hills. I don't understand what he's. Yeah, I don't get it.
To help structure my life, I have set the following goals for myself. These goals need to be reviewed regularly in your treatment to assess your progress on achieving your goals. Revise as needed. Over the next 30 days, I will work my job, keep up with my bills, continue writing another book, finish my landscaping and putting styrofoam insulation on the outside of my house.
He's still working on the landscaping.
Are you suggesting that that's not finished? That rock mound in the small lake? Do you think there's more to be done?
And he's going to be putting up styrofoam insulation on the... Does it say as the outside of my house? He got that.
Yep, absolutely. So he's really ticked a bit off this list.
Since this says it's dated 2014, so
yep,
there's progress being made.
Absolutely. He has a lovely rock feature. He has a water feature. I don't know.
There's this metal storage container feature.
Exactly. I don't know what else you would do there. It's pretty much perfect. Maybe some weeding and that kind of stuff, but whose house doesn't need a bit of weeding, all right? Like, I often imagine, shows like renovation, like the renovation shows and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And what's that one where they have the bus in front of the house and they move that bus?
Extreme Makeover?
Extreme Makeover. And imagine someone going to Lord's place and they're just you know what? I think maybe we could do a few things here, maybe a bit of a path and that to lead to the front door. But apart from that, Lorne, this is a knockout.
Well, I think that's why those curtains went up. Somebody was going to pull them back for a big reveal.
He's going to be on the next season of Extreme Makeover.
Exactly.
Okay, move the top.
House. Over the next 90 days, I will work my job, start looking for a girlfriend, keep up with my bills, keep writing my book, add a back porch on my house, start building a garage.
So what book is this now? Because Taken Abroad was written
that was
in jail,
probably The
wasn't it?
Creature.
The Creature. Yeah, right. So he didn't really keep working on that scene. It never got finished.
It did
and
not.
put dog door and fence and
backyard.
backyard.
But also, he did not keep up with his bills.
He didn't do that either. Or I guess he did start looking for a girlfriend, or girlfriends found him. So he kind of gets a pass there, I guess.
For Roscoe. Over the next 6 months, I will work my job, advertise my book more, invite women for coffee and dating, keep up with bills, writing book as inspiration hits, hopefully completely finish building.
So he's just had writer's block basically, but as soon as that
Well,
inspiration hits,
he's going to be an author, so I think he means another book. Like obviously 6 months from then, he's going to be done with that one, on to the next one.
potentially 2 or 3 really. So he might be talking about his 4th book here when inspiration
You're
hits.
right. You're right.
Garage and back porch, get alarm system for my mom's house. In 1 year,
Did he do that?
goals are to work.
I guess
he got
that's
her life
Roy.
alert.
He did get a life alert, and you know,
a big strong man.
a big strong man. So that's a good alarm system.
My job, build a carport and garage, keep up with bills, have another novel published, start another book, find someone to be happy with.
No wonder, you know, he thinks that he can get you know, Casey in the next movie for Stephen King. I mean, he's practically the next Stephen King. Just prolific.
Buy a different vehicle. In 5 years, my goals are to work my job, have at least 4 books published, keep up with bills, maybe be married and start a family, be off of probation, and
So, in 1 year from the 28th of August 2014, his goal is to build a carport and garage, publish yet another novel, which will be his full. Oh, sorry, this is 5 years. Sorry, I thought we were on the wrong one there, but still, that is a lofty ambition. So 4 books published, get married, start a family, and get off probation. There are some lofty goals right there. When he
Well, just because I'm wondering, he did say have some of his sentence lowered or his case taken to trial. What case is that? He wants to take the case where he already served his prison time back to trial and have it retried.
And if that could happen, like it would be so Lorne for that to happen, and then they'll be like, you know what, Lorne, there has been an injustice here. I can't believe you only got 5 years. I sentenced you to another 10 more. Like that would be hell.
Yes, that is what should happen.
and hopefully have some of my sentence lowered or have my case taken to trial. My most important lifetime goals are to retire with a family, be proud of my achievements, and help those who actually need it.
So you're going to have a big strikeout on all those 3. Like he's never going to retire with a family.
He's never going to retire.
He's never going to retire. And
right. He doesn't have retirement, right?
No, I can't see him having a I mean we call it superannuation over here. I'm not sure what it's called there, but I can't see him having like, you know, that little nest egg to retire with. And what does he mean by help those who actually need it? Like is this talking about he's, you know, wanting to donate to St. Jude's and shit like that? Like what?
And Wounded Warrior Project. They're benefiting so much from these books. All 4 of them.
Absolutely. Like I'm sure by this time, Lorne is basically their main source of income. Like it's just the proceeds of his books is what is keeping his going.
Well, and I think at this point he's getting like 25%, right? Because for a while wasn't Wounded Warrior Project getting 50% and like a firehouse getting like somebody near him getting like 25%?
Yep. So, and he's keeping 25 for himself because I mean, yeah, he needs collateral for his next book. So
sure,
so
and that's enough for his lake house.
Exactly,
25%.
Because I mean, I'm not great at maths, but what is 25% of nothing? Is that still nothing?
I don't have a calculator near me.
No, like I say, I mean, if anyone in the chat, if someone's better at maths than you know, myself and Cornhole, let us know. But I think I'm right. And that is the end of the assignments.
Yay!
What a they were fantastic.
So it's a walk through a crazy mind.
It is there is so many there is still so many questions.
Well, he didn't answer any of the questions they really asked him.
No, but he did give some solid feedback on how the quizzes should be in the future. So, and I'm sure they took that on board
keep that
too.
in mind.
Yeah. So, guys,
Is that his porch?
hey,
Is that the porch he built right behind your little cartoon there?
that is
the
the
porch?
porch, and what a porch, looks like he's got maybe an ice box there, to keep a couple of Bud Lights cold for when visitors come over. It's pretty good. So,
and that's probably what's coming toward the road here is probably where the lake will be.
Exactly.
So you can sit on the porch and overlook the lake.
Exactly right. And then to the right there's the rock feature, so you can really the view. I mean, the view, it would be second to none. I mean, this is like one of those things, like, those really high end kind of not hotels, but kind of lake house escapes where you can go and you just kind
like
of
a bed and breakfast.
Yeah, exactly. And maybe this is what he's doing. Maybe this is what he's getting ready for, a bit of a bed and breakfast. So you take yourself and your partner up there, and Lorne brings you out ham cubes and deviled eggs for breakfast, and Casey will be there running a yoga class for later in the day. So
ham cubes and fruit juice, probably.
exactly. And for lunch, he'll make his favourite salad. Mama Gwen will come over and make her famous chicken pot pie. Be a real. Keep an eye on. What's the word?
It's like a vacation destination.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So we might start wrapping it up there, but this has been a whole heap of fun. I really appreciate you joining me.
Yeah, I'm impressed we got through all of that.
I am too. I fully thought that this would probably be a two-parter, but seeing we did get through it, we'll have to organise another stream, because I really enjoyed this.
Yes, me too.
Anything you wanted to say? You don't have a channel or any? Do you have a channel you wanted to plug?
No.
Or anything
Nope.
you're doing?
No. No.
Well,
Nothing.
Well, no, this was great. So thank you everyone for being here. I will see you all around soon, and talk to you all later. Don't forget to delete your archives.
Okay, bye.